Rob and Jen from Rob and Jen Go. This is the third and uh, final uh, in our go live segments for this particular cruise on Serenade of the Seas. So thank you for joining us today. We are going to do just kind of a recap of the whole week. We've been gone from our house in Arizona for about 8 days now, so we'll be flying home tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. We're going to be flying and flying home, but certainly want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. Right?
Yes.
Shout out to our two moms who should be joining this cast as well. So want to make sure we get that covered.
Yep.
So we've been on Serenade since Tuesday. Tuesday was embarkation day for those of you that joined us on TikTok, no, Facebook Live.
No, it's TikTok.
It was TikTok Live for our sail away party. So thanks for doing that. That was a really good time. And then whatever. And so we had 2 sea days. Sea days were pretty rough.
Yeah, it was this. I think it was probably a function of this being a smaller ship, because it didn't seem. I mean, we certainly have been in rougher water before, but this boat was rocking. So I think you can really tell when you take 100,000 tons off of a boat, it sort of bounces around a bit more in the water. So
yeah, that was something new that we learned. We've been on some mega ships recently, and you hardly notice they're moving, and you get on this little guy, and it was rolling.
yeah, you get on something like Icon, you don't even know you're on a ship. I mean,
True,
you're just like you get lost sometimes there. So
true. So we spent the first 2 days at sea, which was great. We had a chance to get around the boat and take a look around. And this boat has been a great experience. Somebody asked on one of the social channels the other day, which ships do you like and which ships do you not like? And really, our response was we like them all. Because they all come with something different. And this boat, because it was built in 2003, it only holds just short of 2,500 passengers. It's kind of a retro throwback.
yeah, but we learned too that it went over an extensive remodel because they took this boat on one of the world cruises. So while they normally would go into dry dock and do some updates and modernization, and you certainly can feel that they seem to have put a little bit of extra effort into it with the decor. So while the layout is definitely a throwback to the early 2000s, I think the decor is been more modernized. Less sort of neon, more LED type. So yeah,
Yeah, and even in our stateroom, for instance, you can tell where they retrofitted
yeah,
extra outlets by the bed, where back in the early 2000s, those didn't exist. So that was great to get around, like I said, on the first 2 sea days. Yesterday, we were in Seattle, which was a really great day. Got a chance to walk down Pike Place Market.
yep. We got some really good video through there on the 360, so we'll be putting that up on our pages here in the coming weeks. So
Yeah, great time. We ran into some crew along the
yeah,
way uh, from the casino, so that was really great. Yesterday also came our casino offers. So we did get Rob got an offer and I got an offer. So we'll take those two offers into the fall, and we will be announcing some other cruises then.
yeah. And actually, just as we started the live, another email popped up with another offer, so we'll have to see what that one is. So, but it says something that most of the crew that we really get to meet and know well are casino and casino bartender staff. So maybe we have a problem. I don't know.
Uh,
It seems so.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Absolutely. So lots of fun there with those casino offers. I think you're going to go down and play a little bit more today, right?
Yep. Yep. So you were fortunate enough to hit your prime target
Hmm.
for next year. So now you're all set for till March of 28.
Yep.
So I've gotten over halfway there. So we're gonna see if I can get lucky tonight and maybe I'll get there myself.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll have to give it a shot for sure. So that's been a lot of fun. Getting
But
getting down to the getting down to the casino, although the casino was closed last night. We never went back out to the Pacific Ocean from leaving Seattle and coming to Victoria, British Columbia today. So you sort of stay in the channel and the sound. And because we didn't go back out to the ocean, the casino was closed. I think there were a few people bummed about that.
yeah, what they say it was 70 kilometers or something was the
Yeah.
all we traveled. And when we look at the map on the TV, you could see we just sort of went floated around in the sound and kind of, I think, spent about half the time on the US side of the sound and half the time on the Canadian side. And just we woke up just about the same place where we went to bed. So
So we went to a show last night. We've been to the show every night this week. So that was a whole lot of fun. We've been to the show, we've been to the pub,
I
we've
will
been to the Schooner Bar for the piano.
I will say on the shows, um, one thing that really surprised me, and I thought maybe with an older ship, um, I didn't know what my expectations were for the shows, but these are probably three best shows.
Mhm.
Just as far as like the only three shows they have, all three of them were fantastic. It was really, really kind of crazy. So um, certainly beat my expectations.
Yeah, I would say mine too. Tonight it'll finish up with a comedian. So we started out with a comedian on night one, and then we'll end up with a comedian tonight. So we'll see if this comedian is a little better than day one comedian.
Yeah, the
He was
day one,
okay, just
day one
not my
comedian.
favorite.
Yeah, you just they, everybody's got a type. So
That's true.
wasn't necessarily our cup of tea.
Well, we gave
But
it a try.
we gave it a try, and he had some funny moments. But
Yeah, he certainly did. So we will get off after this live event. We should be just about parked in our spot. We are still in the process of backing up. That's why we keep looking outside to see where we're at
yes,
because we're almost parked. We'll get
I think we're
cleared by
good.
customs and then we'll get off and do a little shopping. I think we're going to try to find a pub today. Uh, for those of you that saw some of our other posts, we were supposed to go on a distillery tour that included a winery and a brewery. That was canceled. That was canceled before we got on board. So on day one, there was a note in our stateroom that let us know that particular shore excursion had been canceled, and we had received a refund for our money. So that was a little bit of a bummer that we didn't get to do that, but we'll just take a taxi into town and walk around.
Yep.
We've
So
we've been here before, so we kind of have a feel of where we're going today. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah, and it just shows sometimes on these trips, you have to be flexible because things change. Ports get canceled, excursions get canceled, pretzel making, decorating classes get canceled when you're the only
Yeah.
one that signed up. But
Yeah, that got canceled too. We got a call just as we were going to bed the other night, and they said you're the only one that signed up, so we're just going to give you back your money for the pretzel class. So that was kind of a bummer as well.
yeah, but I was able to do the Jack Daniel's bonded
Mhm.
tasting. That was pretty good. Very informative. A lot of times when we go to tastings or events like that, you'll find similar to what I did in this class, and that was I think some of the participants knew a little bit more than the presenter, but he was a nice guy, and we got to taste a couple different three of their different bonded series, and got to meet some really cool people. Sat next to a guy from Australia who originally was from London, so we were talking about our upcoming European cruise that we're going to be taking in June and July, and so always fun time to just hang out with new people.
Mhm. Yep. And then before then, for those of you that joined one of our first couple of live sessions, I talked about getting my hair cut in the salon. So wanted to take a chance and see how that was because we are going to go on some extended back-to-backs, and I wanted to give it a try to see if that's something I would do in the future or if I needed to go home and have it fixed. But she actually did a pretty good job. She took about an inch off the bit off of the whole thing, gave me a great style. That was dress your best night or formal night, however you'd like to put it, and it all worked out. So I was pretty happy with that experience in the
Yeah,
spa.
looks great.
So so I've got some decent haircut for
Yeah,
this time around.
yeah. We're gonna, our goal is to transition into more, longer term adventures. Not necessarily living on the ship full time, but certainly, um, we're probably 6 to 8 a year now, and maybe we'll get that up to 10 or 12 a year, maybe more. So, when you're going to be traveling that much, you gotta, sort of give up the comforts of home and your regular salons and services and things like that, and start branching out. So that was good.
We won't be the person that's doing the 33 consecutive cruises that we
No,
met this week.
and we won't be Miss Karen, who at the Crown and Anchor event had 4,253 points, and we are sitting comfortably right now at 158. So
We'll
that's
never
a
be her
yeah,
either.
that's not so.
So we've met more than not people that are on consecutive cruises for this trip. Normally you run into just a handful, but from this particular boat being down in Panama through LA up to Alaska, there are just an abundant number of people that are staying on for the entire 3 legs. Somebody was taking a cruise back to Australia from here.
Yeah,
So we've met all kinds of people that are doing some consecutive cruises. They've obviously got more time than we do right now.
yeah, yeah. I spoke with one gentleman who had come from Fort Lauderdale through the Panama Canal, um, when we caught up to the ship in LA, and then he was continuing on to Vancouver, and then he was doing 14 days in through Alaska as well. So I'm like, okay, well, if that's your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've posted on some of our social channels silly things like the towel animals that uh, cabin attendants make. So we've got a couple of them here from
We have
this
two.
week. We have
Oh,
two.
there we go.
So I don't know. Let me see
There you
this
go.
one. My hand's kind of in the way. It's got these. Its head's probably gonna fall off. But here's the one. We thought that one was kind of cute. This was yesterday's.
No towel animals were harmed in the making of this video.
And then, oh my goodness, I don't know that I can get this other one without destroying it. Sometimes they try to make these a little too elaborate. So here's the other one. Whoop!
Oh,
And it's lost its head.
sorry, kids.
I knew that was gonna happen.
I rescind my earlier
Well,
statement about the towel animals being
it still has its eyes,
harmed.
so we're good. But we always enjoy a good towel animal. I'm not a fan of the ones though that they hang from the hanger and they hang it like a monkey.
Yeah,
With they use a pants hanger to hang it up. I'm not a fan of that one. Are you?
no,
I know it's kind of weird when you come in and you see a towel animal dangling in the room.
yeah. And I'm not the type of person that needs to have a new towel animal every day either. We had one trip where I think we ended up by the end of the trip we had 7 animals all huddled in the corner, and like, this is
Every
getting a
day.
little creepy now. So
Yeah, that was really weird. We had a whole couch full by the time we were done. So we've had some fun with our duck mailbox.
yep.
We've gone through a ton of ducks. Just people coming by and taking them out of the box. Somebody left us a note with our Scrabble pieces that said we were out of ducks. I thought that was kind of
Yeah,
funny.
that was funny.
He's like, no ducks. I'm like,
And
no kidding.
for the most part, the Scrabble tile has been successful. We've only had, I think, one offensive word that I think the same person kept coming back and trying to put up there 2 or 3 times, and then we just re-scramble it and maybe take a few letters down so they can't make it. but
Yeah.
but for the most part, everybody's been great. Especially our own sort of inside joke. If you travel on a lot of these cruises, you start to realize that some of the names from Indonesia and Philippines and things like that, or sort of become like the equivalent of the American John name,
Jim.
Jim. These are very common names. Iputu, Iputu. You'll be surprised how many people you run into that work on these ships with the name Iputu, and it turns out that that's a very common name. Well, on day two of our Scrabble, somebody had come by and actually spelled that name out along with all the other names on there. So that was really fun. It cracked us up. So
Yeah, we are big door decoration people, I would say. We decorate our door every cruise, doing a lot of times the same things, but this time we did do the two new pieces, which were the duck mailbox and the Scrabble. I would definitely do the duck mailbox again. I think the only drawback with the duck mailbox is we didn't do as good of a job hiding ducks around the ship.
right.
We got a little lazy and just kept putting them in the mailbox.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to use the mailbox, we need to bring more ducks too, because you can put one out there and it's probably gone within an hour. So it's going to be a
Mm.
constant sort of restocking.
Yeah.
The other thing is that mailbox, it needed a bit stronger magnets. So
So we're gonna put some extra magnets on it when
yep,
we get home for the next cruise, because the size of ducks that we have are on the heavier side and they're on the bigger side. So yeah, not quite for that
yeah,
mailbox. It's going to need a little bit of adaptation, but we'll get it when we get home. And Scrabble, I've done a couple of video hacks on how to put your own Scrabble together. So that was a ton of fun to do. Uh, we've got the links through the Amazon storefront. If you're interested in them, you can go out to our website and grab those. But we got the wooden tiles from Amazon, and then we got the magnetic strips, cut the pieces of magnets off, stuck them to the wooden tiles, and turned them into our own Scrabble. So there are 100 tiles in a Scrabble game. Rob counted out all of the tiles, and we brought actually and put on the wall outside an entire Scrabble board. So we had all of the letters out there.
yep. And we got some good pictures we'll be posting as well about some of the creativities people had, and it really worked out well. A lot of people participated, and we had at one point where I think there was only 10 tiles that hadn't been used. So and we had a pretty good layout going. So
Yeah, I really will say it was fun because you got to see what was on other people's mind.
yeah,
And every time we came back to our room, I always stopped and looked at those Scrabble pieces and said, what did people spell today? Or, what are people doing? And our room attendant, because we're at that end of the hallway, we're right next to the attendant little room
yeah, a
where
closet for the
closet,
yeah,
that's a good word.
yeah,
And so we were trying to take off couple of the not so nice words and put them apart, and the stateroom attendants were laughing at us, and I said we didn't, we just want to make sure we kept it clean. And he said, oh, don't worry, we know who they are because there's a camera pointed right at your door.
yeah. They were like basically offering for us to hunt down who would put the
Yeah.
offensive words. And we're like, no, it's okay. But sometimes if you've been cruising for a while, you understand they will bend over backwards for service, and uh, they'll come up with the craziest things just to try and make you happy. And it's like, no, 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 we're good. We don't need to get anybody in trouble here. It's not that big of a deal. But
Yeah, we have had an excellent stateroom attendant. We always
yes,
do, but this one, he has gone just above and beyond. We had a incident in Seattle where Rob spilled something on his pants, on his pair of jeans, and then it just we needed to get it out before it stained. And we called down. They came right up, grabbed his jeans, took him downstairs, threw him through the laundry so that it didn't get stained, and then brought him right back up. So excellent service.
yeah, a little too good on the service, because we got back to the room last night and it was supposed to. He said he'd have him back same day, and we're expecting to see him just laying on the couch or the table, and we're like, man, those jeans haven't showed up. I get up this morning, I'm like, I still can't find those jeans. I opened the closet, he had hung them up. So I'm like, that was a little too good on the service. And I'll be sure that when we get laundry done anymore, that we check the closet too.
Yeah, laundry's been great on this particular ship.
So what else do we got? So we had, today. It's always you get up on the last day and sort of bittersweet. Um, so we kind of went through that little morning. So
We have to pack this
I have to
afternoon.
pack this afternoon. Yeah,
And
trying to.
and we'll probably pack after we get back from Victoria.
Yeah,
We usually have our luggage outside sooner rather than later. We're not ones to wait until 10 o'clock to put it outside. So before we go to dinner, we'll certainly get everything all packed up and put outside. We will be going to Giovanni's table this evening, um, which will be a fun. That we ended up with a comp table at Giovanni's this evening, which is their Italian restaurant, because of the pretzel class getting canceled. So instead of refunding us the cost of the pretzel class, they went ahead and applied it towards a dinner for the two of us. So we are going tonight at a, that'll be a very reduced fare on that. So what we have learned is that, especially food and beverage, if something gets canceled, it almost they've almost worked on the barter system this time, I would say,
yeah,
where they would they want to do something else rather than give you the money back. So that's how we ended up at Giovanni's. We could have gone to any specialty restaurant. We had already been to Chops, which is the steakhouse, earlier this week. Izumi on this boat, because of the size of the boat, does not have a teppanyaki table. So we've done Izumi's before, and that's okay. But I think I like Giovanni's better.
yeah, yeah. I think
So
so.
it'll give us a chance to have dinner there. The only tough thing about that is that we only spent 2 of the 5 nights in the uh, in the
In
main
the main
dining
dining room,
room.
and it was a shame because Andrew and
Jonah.
Jonah were really, really fantastic, and they worked really well together as a team. And we knew we had chops, and so we said we won't see you on, we won't see you last night. Um, But we'll see you again on Saturday, and then now we're not going to see you on Saturday, so we won't get to see them again.
Yeah, so that's another bittersweet moment. And I think you find that when you're cruising, there's some things that are trade-offs. And I think you said it earlier. We can just you got to be flexible.
Yep.
And if you're flexible, then it'll all work out. We have seen some fairly angry people on this trip. I don't know how you get
Yeah,
on
I
a cruise
just
ship and be angry.
think it's like I've always said, it's part of the luggage that some people bring with them is their own anger and their own issues, and so, I mean, if you come on a ship and just with a bad disposition, I don't think anything on the ship is going to help you with that. But it's just things happen, and just being flexible is important. And I get it. A lot of times we're privileged that we travel so much and we do this a lot that we can be flexible. And if it's your one trip and you planned it and you're really looking forward to this and something gets canceled or changed, and you know it's a little it hits a little harder, I guess. Um, but
Yeah,
one thing is
I would agree.
one thing that's been really interesting about this cruise is that the daily calendar wasn't set in stone like before the trip started. So we've seen some changes that happened to that. And one of the things was we like to participate in the '80s night, and there wasn't going to be an '80s night on this when we started the trip, and then they stuck one in there. So we went last night. It was white night as well, so we just took our white outfits and caught the end of the '80s party, and that was pretty cool. Got some video of that as well. So
Yeah, very few people dressed up,
yeah,
though. I think less than a handful dressed up. Most people were just dancing to the party, which was a whole bunch of fun,
yeah,
but very, very few people. And if we would have realized it would have been 80s night, we would have certainly dressed up to go. I think we like to do that for theme
yeah.
nights or theme events. We did dress up for White Night last night, so we are waiting for the photos to come from the photo gallery. Rob and I, because we have diamond status on Royal Caribbean, we have the benefit of getting 2 free 8x10s on every cruise. So we selected a portrait from Formal Night and then from White Night. So we'll have two new photos for us to take home. And we always encourage people, depending on whatever your status is, to make sure you know what the benefits are before you get on board the uh, cruise ship,
Yeah.
because you don't want to miss out on, if it's a percentage off of a drink, or if it is um, free portraits, or it's a day service of internet, reduced internet. There are different benefits at different levels. So certainly you would want to make sure you check all of the levels, or whatever level you're on, to see what your benefits are before you get on board.
Yeah, and make sure you sign up for in this case, Royal Caribbean, the Crown and Anchor Society. We were surprised, especially for a repositioning cruise going to Vancouver from LA, that about half of the people on the ship don't have Crown and Anchor status, which means that you only have to basically do one sailing. It's 3 points. I think you become gold the first tier. So to have no points at all, no tier status, means there's a lot of people, about half of them on this, that this is their first cruise, at least with Royal Caribbean. So, um, but it's easy to kind of get started on that, and get some of the benefits right away. So,
Mhm.
kind of similar thing with the casino. I've seen people sit down and play the machines without um, having signed up for the casino status either. And it's like it doesn't take a lot of points, and if you do a couple cruises, and then next thing you know, you can start getting some benefits from it. So
Yeah, in fact, that's a really good point, because I was down playing the other day and a woman sat down next to me. She didn't put her card in the machine, so she wasn't getting any points, and then got a hand pay for $2,000. She hit some Buffalo, I think, on the
yeah,
screen, and so she missed out on the points and being able to get it, to be able um, to get anything. So
yeah,
that's a really good point, is make sure you use your card in the casino.
yeah. Advice that one of our friends from Facebook, No Points Left Behind, would really appreciate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
give a shout out there.
absolutely. So what anything else before we wrap up here that we can think about for this trip?
No, I think the only thing we talked about that we didn't get to do, and it's really our own fault for doing other things, but we haven't been to the solarium. So the pool, the weather's been pretty chilly and windy. So, the main pool, I think, has been pretty empty the whole trip.
Hmm.
But we usually like to go down to the solarium, which is the covered pool, 16 and over to get in there. And we might, depending on when we get back from our excursion today, we might go down there and hang out for a bit. But it's just amazing that we thought with a smaller ship, we might find downtime, and where we didn't really have stuff to do. And we've been very busy, and the week has flown by, and we're just like, oh, it's a shame we got to be done.
Yeah,
So
I would say proportionally there is as many activities on this ship as there are on larger ships.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't think because it was a smaller ship there was less to do. Although what I would say is trivia has been crazy busy. Every time we've gone by the pub or the schooner bar,
yeah,
they've been full. I'm this record number of people playing trivia, and a lot of it could just be the weather, but
yeah.
it was
I think it
crazy.
was because it was kind of chilly. It's kind of an early repositioning cruise. Anyway, the first week of May, I mean, it's still like 11 Celsius, 50 Fahrenheit, up in this area, and certainly needed to bring more quarter zips and sweaters than we did, but
Mhm.
it's still good.
We're going home to record heat
Yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly. So I'm not going to complain.
We're going to take this while we can get it.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Well, we appreciate those that joined us for this. If you weren't on here and you have a chance to go out and see it, it will be posted on our YouTube channel for everybody to go back and watch afterwards. We'll let everybody know that it's posted when it's up there. We appreciate the half hour.
yeah. And I would say we also, if you're watching, obviously you're watching this on YouTube, all of our descriptions always have the links to our uh, website and to our other socials as well. So you can catch us across, pretty much any of the platforms. Um,
Mhm.
and then, as Jen said, appreciate everyone showing up and happy to share our cruise tips and adventures with you.
So until next time,
Safe travels.
and see you on board. Bye.